everybody. It's Kara for SCZ Live, and I'm here with my friend Carter, and we are in the Tropics building. And you may have noticed if you've visited lately that the building closes at 1 o'clock for an hour, and it's because they're doing a feeding. And today we're going to get to see what happens behind the scenes.
Hi. So yes, like Kara said, we feed the Tropics building in the afternoons and in the mornings, so twice a day. And how we do that is we have this nice feed cart here that has all the diets that we'll need for our time out here. And we go throughout the building and feed everyone. So there's the free flight birds that we feed, and then the birds that are in some holding areas, and then the birds that are in the smaller exhibits within the building. So this right here, these are our main mixes that we feed to the free flight birds. So in the mornings, we already have this all made up in trays that we set out, but in the afternoons, we kind of have to put everything together to set it out again. So what we do, as Emily's demonstrating, we bring up the trays from the morning and we clean them off, clean off any food that didn't get eaten from this morning, and then we kind of reassemble the diets as they would have been this morning.
So I have a quick observation. This looks like tabbouleh to me. I've never noticed that until right now. Maybe it's just the mix for today, but it does. It looks like tabbouleh.
And so we have a good mix of stuff for our birds. So it's a mix of different types of pelleted diets. So like this is just a pelleted diet. Kind of think about how you give your dog or cat specialized dog or cat food. That's the same thing, but for birds. Then we mix it with chopped up fruit, chopped up vegetables, and then they also get seed and insects. So Emily's mixing up the insects to add. That's usually the big ticket item, what everyone goes for first.
Somebody is singing to us.
Yes, so that is one of our Oriole warblers. You can actually see one right here. That's not the one singing, but they're a small bird native to Western Africa, and we have 3 of them out here, 2 parents and then their kid.
There's all kinds of activity on that platform.
Yes. So at every feed station, there are 6 feed stations throughout the building. Each one has what we call an aerial tray, so one that's up off the ground, and then a ground tray. Because we have birds that like to eat up in the trees off the ground, they usually congregate on the aerial trays, and then ground birds like this crested quail dove right here, they prefer to eat on the ground, so we have trays set down low for them.
Somebody knows what's up.
Yes, the crested quail doves are usually the first ones around. They know where the food is. So,
what is this bird that's hopping up to the platform?
This guy with the beautiful red face, that is a Leocicla, so it's a type of thrush species from Southeast Asia. He's the only one that we have out here. We have a similar species of thrush called a Chinese huame that he usually hangs around with.
Everybody is getting excited. There's a lot of activity happening now.
Yes, so in addition to being a good time to feed the birds, this is also a great time for us to observe the birds. There are about 250 birds out here free flight, so this allows us to have spots where they all congregate, so we can, especially in the morning, see everybody come down for breakfast, and then we can kind of keep track of who's who and how they're doing. So as you can see, they know right what time it is, and they come usually for the bugs first. And then that little cup there, we also have a nectar that we feed for some of our nectar-eating birds. So we have some small birds called honey creepers out here that eat a lot of flower nectar, and then a lot of the fruit-eating birds will also like that.
Oh wow, who's this blue one on our left?
Yes, that brilliant bird right there, that is our male spangled cotinga. They're from Central and South America. And
what a fancy name, it's so fitting.
Yes, spangled cotinga. So the males look like that. The females, we don't have any females in here, but they're a more drab brown color. But yeah, and all that color, that's actually just a trick of the light. None of his feathers are actually blue. It's just the way the light refracts off of the structure of the feathers that makes that blue color.
Is that the same thing with butterflies?
Yes, so most butterflies do have that same sort of structural color.
Oh, I saw somebody trying to get some nibbles straight out of the kitchen.
Yes, they know what this cart means, and a lot of them are not afraid to come and snatch some stuff from us.
It's kind of like when mom's working on Thanksgiving dinner.
Absolutely.
Sneak in there and get some.
Yes.
My. Everybody kind of settled down on this platform.
Yes, so usually there's kind of a flurry of activity at the beginning, and then they kind of settle down. So right now we've got, let's see, this kind of speckled brown bird in the back. That is a female violet-backed starling. The darker brown bird with kind of the blackish head that just flew off, that was a common bulbul. this guy with the nice blue eyeliner here, that is one of our crested kuas. And then that kind of light slatey colored bird is a blue-gray tanager.
Wow, lots of diversity right here.
Yes. So we have got about 50 species of birds out here. Again,
wow.
About 250 total.
What's going on over here on the, ooh! There's some stuff happening on the ground.
Yes, so there's our ground tray there. So you can see that bird with the long tail and the yellow belly, that is a golden-breasted starling. You got another common bulbul down there. And then in the background, I don't know if you can see them, are our oriole warblers.
Oh, there it comes making its little presence known.
Yeah, and that right there is a snowy-headed robin chat. They're also from Africa. And yeah, that little kind of olive green and black and white bird is our oriole warbler.
So, I'm sorry, how many stations are there in the tropics?
There are 6 stations, and each station has 2 trays with them, so we have 12 trays out at one time. And in the mornings, each tray has 2 cups of mix on it, and in the afternoons, we put 1 cup of mix on it.
Do you guys pick this up? I pointed to the screen like everybody can see what I'm talking about. Do you guys pick the trays up at night?
Yes, so just to kind of cut back on some pests and stuff, we definitely pick up all the ground trays. We do have 4 night trays, we call them, that we put out just to give the birds something to eat overnight. A lot of these smaller birds have such high metabolisms that they might not be able to make it through the night without eating.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, so we always have 4 night trays out so that they have stuff to find at night.
And sometimes people will come through and we'll see pieces of fruit kind of skewered in different places. Do you guys, is that for the birds too?
Yes, so the birds love to come and eat the bigger pieces of fruit too. We have some species that kind of specialize on eating bigger pieces of fruit. So we've got birds called mouse birds that they like to come and eat the bigger pieces. Those honey creepers that I mentioned earlier, they really like the juicier fruits, so like orange and papaya, they like that because it's similar to nectar. So we have 2 or 3 spiking sticks out at all times that we have fruit spiked on.
That is so fun.
So we can move on now.
Oh, okay.
And then we can head towards our second, our second feeding stations. So this is where we park our cart for the second feed station. The actual areas there where we feed are kind of off exhibit areas. So we would go back around here. There's one behind our main lake that you might be familiar with. And then down in this moated exhibit here, we have a station. So this is a good example of our building is big enough that some species of birds actually have different territories within the building. So this kind of corner of the building belongs to our chestnut-backed thrushes. They're a species of thrush pretty closely related to American robins that are from Southeast Asia. And the area and the moat and the trees above it tend to be their territory. So they will kind of chase off anybody who's trying to make trouble in their home. And whenever they have chicks, this is where the chicks stay until they're adult size and are able to kind of leave the nest.
One of our viewers named Lisa says that she can't get the backyard birds to eat orange slices, and what's the trick? She may be thinking of the orioles that come through, and they like the oranges earlier in the year, and then they move on to higher protein bugs during the later part of the summer.
Yes, and a lot of other birds are more insect and seed eaters too, so the orioles are definitely the ones that would come and eat that. But yeah, it all depends on the time of year. So this bird right here that we're tracking, we get questions about them a lot because if you look closely at them, it looks like they have a big wound on their chest. That's supposed to be there. They're actually called bleeding heart doves. So that's just the color that their chest is. But it's very convincing. I can see that if you didn't know what it was, you might be concerned about it. So we have 4 of these guys out here, all males. Yes, that's a good view of that. So they're kind of like those crested quail doves I mentioned earlier. They're really good about coming in for a handout.
Who's this right here? This big one right in the center of our screen.
That is one of our Nicobar pigeons. So they're from a few islands kind of off the coast of India in the Indian Ocean. We have several of those out here. They're very prolific breeders in this building, so we have multiple chicks most of the year. These are some of our newest stars. So these are crested wood partridges. We just got 4 in from St. Louis Zoo to add to our single male that we had here before. So the green ones are the females, and then this little black one with a nice mohawk, he's one of our males. So we have 3 females and 2 males now. They're also from Southeast Asia. They're a small pheasant species, so closely related to like your backyard chickens and turkeys. And the 4 that we got from St. Louis, they were all hand-reared, so they're very comfortable with us, which is good for us because it allows us to get up close to them so we can tell how they're doing. So we want to kind of maintain that relationship, so we will hand feed them. I don't recommend that anybody who comes here to visit hand feed them because we want them to get the type of food that they're adapted to get and that is healthy for them.
That's really a good point, that you shouldn't feed the zoo animals anything other than the goat food and the fish food. Hey,
so
buddy, I have
obviously a lot of the birds here are friendly and they'll come up to you, but as cute as they are, it's much better for them to get the food that we provide them because it's specially formulated for their health.
I always just tell the kids that there are sentries and they're showing us the way.
Yep. No, they're real good. You know something's going on if you hear them talking a lot. And I might be a little biased, but I think they're pretty cute.
They are cute.
They got a lot of personality too.
They do. Well, you guys, thank you so much for letting us come down and watch you feed. Was there anything else you wanted to show us, or are you good if we wrap up?
I think this is a good place to end it. These are kind of our stars right now.
I think so too. Oh, look. Oh!
Get along, you two.
Rude.
Sometimes they're a little greedy with their food.
Well, aren't we all?
Yep.
I hide ice cream from my kids, so. All right. Oh, I hope she's not watching now that I've said that. All right. So thank you, everybody, and we hope you have a great afternoon and come out and see us. And if you do, and the Tropics is closed when you're here, just know that they're in here feeding birds, and you can come back in about an hour.